to be on the agenda today to speak specifically on the ACE train. Some of you already know that I've had a marketing and public relations firm for about 13 years, and I was recently contacted by Dan Levitt, who is part of the San Joaquin Rail Commission. The ACE train becomes much more critical, if you will, for us as residents in Stanislaus County, but it's also going to be very, very important to Merced County and to San Joaquin County, and I'll tell you why. So first and foremost, how many of you here in this room have taken the ACE train from San Joaquin County into downtown San Jose? How many of you have taken? You have, Cy and Ellen?
That's not the Amtrak.
No, this is the ACE train.
I cheated. I took it from Stockton
Into San Jose. Right now, the ACE train starts its first daily run, and it takes 4 trains every single day from Manteca and Stockton all the way into downtown San Jose, and it takes about 2 hours, 20 minutes is what it takes right now. The first train starts at 4:15 a.m. Now, these trains are specifically for those who are commuting to the Google.coms, to the Silicon Valley, if you will. It's a train that is very much used. We're actually at capacity right now. With the ACE Forward initiative, what they are proposing is that they actually would expand that service from 4 daily trains to 7 daily trains, and actually having more hours conducive to the average commuter, if you will. Now, I as a business owner can tell you that I need to go to San Jose a few times during the month, but I don't want to take a train at 4 o'clock in the morning. And I can tell you that most of my clients would probably not be up at the time that I would be arriving in downtown San Jose. So it does make more sense to make, again, travel that much more conducive to the average rider and to the business commuter. So right now, with the expanded ACE train, and that's why they're calling it the ACE Forward Initiative, what their projected target date to bring expanded service into Stanislaus County would be after 2018. We're in a phase right now where we're actually doing the environmental impact study and we're doing the public comment. Now, one challenge that we have, and actually we're in the same boat and same predicament as Merced County, we do not have the half-cent sales tax to be able to increase capacity into Stanislaus County and into Merced County. With the expanded service, we would actually have an ACE train station in downtown Modesto, another one in downtown Merced. Now, why would that be important? And I just had this conversation with Supervisor Deidre Kelsey in Merced County a couple of weeks ago. We have to come to realization that we are not creating as many jobs as we would like to create. And as I tell our elected officials, yes, you're doing a great job in trying to cultivate and bring in more industry. We're doing a great job, but we're not going to ever meet the demand. And so now with the ACE Forward initiative, imagine now 7 trains, and the best part, if we can get the ACE Forward initiative to fully be implemented, they're going to be putting in new rail construction, if you will, infrastructure, that would now reduce the commute time to 1 hour and 45 minutes. So you would leave Modesto and you would be in downtown San Jose in 1 hour 45 minutes. Now, I can tell you that in that 1 hour and 45 minutes, I as a business owner, I can make full use of that hour and 45 with the Wi-Fi service. I can actually be productive on my way there and on my way back. We need to actually provide rail service, not just for convenience, but also to reduce the impacts of greenhouse gas emissions and our cars. For the last 2 years, I have been working with elected officials from San Joaquin County all the way down into Kern County, Bakersfield. Why? Because I've been advocating on what we have now come to the point where every single county in the San Joaquin Valley has to adopt a sustainable community strategies. Jenny Canoyer, who now is on the STANCOG, she understands that we need to adopt a scenario, if you will, for Stanislaus County that makes us accountable in reducing our greenhouse gas emissions. The ACE train will actually be able to remove a lot of those greenhouse gas emissions into our air. So, and I promise I'm going to give every single one of you one of these handouts, but I'm going to use it right now as part of my, my cluster to put the information in front of you. So again, the San Joaquin Rail Commission owns and operates and is the policy-making body for the ACE train, or otherwise known the Ultimate Commuter Express. The San Joaquin Rail Commission is governed by the Board of Directors and is appointed by the San Joaquin Council of Governments, and also just recently has now adopted elected officials from Stanislaus County all the way down into Bakersfield. Our representative, it used to be Stephanie Burnside and Vito Chiesa, and I don't know now that Jenny Canoyer, who is it? So now it's Mayor Marsh, who's the alternate on this body. And again, why do I mention these names? I mention these names because these individuals, like I just had a conversation with Supervisor Vito Chiesa, if we're starting to recognize that rail service becomes that much more critical for us to be able to put more bodies over the Altamont, to be able to find meaningful work that pays well. And most of the people that are going there are doing it for that very reason, because they're looking for good paying jobs. But I also explained to Supervisor Vito Chiesa, why aren't we bringing trains back? If not full, at least half full. And he said, Virginia, but why would we want to do that? And I said, Vito, because there's a third pillar of the economy that we, as elected officials, or former elected officials, community leaders, business leaders also need to recognize. We're doing a fantastic job, and I'm really sorry that the video didn't work because that really kind of cultivated this. We're doing a great job with agriculture, and actually that's why I'm heading up government relations for the Sino-American Trade Development Association out of Beijing, China. The relationship there is that the San Joaquin Valley becomes a critical element for them in terms of more trade relations, if you will. But my challenge is explaining to government leaders, business leaders, investors, where the San Joaquin Valley is. They know where San Jose is, they know where San Francisco is, they know where Los Angeles and Hollywood is, they know where Yosemite is. But when I talk to them about the San Joaquin Valley, it always comes out the same dark, blank look. Where is the San Joaquin Valley? It becomes that much more important for us to cultivate the agriculture industry that we have. So we have that. Manufacturing, I think we're still doing a pretty good job in terms of bringing more manufacturing jobs to the area. But everybody knows, and it's actually statistically proven, that there are 3 pillars to building a great economy. We already have the agriculture, we already have the manufacturing in the works. Does anybody know what that 3rd pillar of the economy could be? Actually, no. It's tourism. Tourism is actually the 3rd pillar of strengthening any local economy. What have we done to attract tourists, tourism, to the San Joaquin Valley? We've done nothing. We've done absolutely nothing. So actually, I met with the 5 chairs of the 5 Board of Supervisors in what I consider the San Joaquin River Valley. And why is that? The San Joaquin River is actually in the process of being restored under a lawsuit that was filed in 1986 and it was settled in 2006. The San Joaquin River will be restored under law. Now we do understand there is some opposition, especially from our Congressman, Jeff Denham, and our Congressman down south, Devin Nunes. They have actually filed a countersuit. It's ridiculous, and I'll tell you why it's ridiculous. This was agreed upon and actually had great support from both the Republicans and from the Democrats. Everybody came to the table and actually agreed to this restoration settlement that actually will increase the flows to the San Joaquin River. Now, why is this important to you? It's important to you because this is also a project that's going to bring in thousands of jobs to the restoration, thousands of good union-paying jobs to this area. To the report that was written by Dr. Cantor at UC Merced, who is a well-renowned economist, over 11,000 jobs will be created in our great San Joaquin River Valley. That is from Fresno all the way into San Joaquin County. Why would we be opposed to this? Why? I don't understand the why. I met with, again, the city officials in Mendota, because actually the city of Mendota and Fresno County, that's where the majority of the restoration is going to be taking place. They're going to invest just in the next 5 years, 5 to 10 years, $450 million will be infused into that local economy. Now you tell me that we can't use $450 million in this area in a community like Mendota that has unemployment anywhere between 40 and 50%. If we had unemployment at the national level, 40 to 50, we'd have riots. We'd have full-blown riots. But here we're talking about the city of Mendota in Fresno County. And again, it all comes back to this. The ACE train really does come back to me to be able to go out and advocate for people, for business leaders, community leaders, elected officials, to recognize we need to open up our eyes and recognize that the ACE train has the ability to create the types of jobs, the needed jobs that we need to build a better economy for ourselves, for our children, and for our grandchildren. And so, yes, I am very vocal and very passionate about this. I take Amtrak at least twice a week. One of my other clients is in Fresno County. And I can tell you, I have become, and Jenny is really funny, she says she loves the train. How many of you have taken Amtrak recently? Is it not the best? Is it not the best? And so that's actually how I started working with Dan Levitt with the San Joaquin Rail Commission, because I told Dan, if we could get that same interest with people who take Amtrak all throughout the San Joaquin Valley, imagine if we started to infuse that same energy, if you will, that same passion for people taking the train, the ACE train, into downtown San Jose, into downtown Santa Clara. Where is the 49ers Stadium now located? You're now going to be able to take a train into Santa Clara and be able to go watch a 49ers game. Imagine that. Imagine that. Now, I am not a sports aficionado, and that to me is not that lucrative, but I can tell you, I have 3 little boys at home who are all telling me the same thing. Wow, Mom, do you think now we could get season passes? I don't think that's going to happen either. But it's there if we wanted to take it. Now, some people may say, why would we want to support the ACE train if we don't have that half-cent sales tax that would be able to bring it in? San Joaquin County has that half-cent sales tax. We have tried twice, and it has failed. And I'll tell you, the reason I feel that it has failed is because people do not recognize the magnitude and the scope that that half-cent sales tax would have on this community and on this economy. I was in that StanCog room arguing why we needed that half-cent sales tax 2 years ago, 3 years ago. And to the words of my fellow friend and colleague, the former Senator Dick Monteith, who's now on the Board of Supervisors, he said that I was ignorant for wanting to get the half-cent sales tax back on the ballot. And you know, perhaps I am ignorant, but I said no more ignorant are we all in this room when I see the allocations from both the federal government and the state of California in terms of transportation dollars that are going into that community, and we're not getting our fair share. Now you tell me who's ignorant. So we are now starting to see, and actually in that same room, I was told that would be political suicide to put another tax on the ballot. Well, it may be political suicide for you, but it's economic suicide for us that have to live with the repercussions. So yes, as you can see, I am very vocal. I do believe that we do have to make some sacrifices, and I do believe we have to ask the public to commit to that half-cent sales tax. San Joaquin County has been extremely successful. The ACE train is obviously not a problem for them. They have that train station in downtown Stockton. Why do we not have the ability? Why can't we provide our residents the ability of, again, bringing a rail station, an ACE train station, to downtown Modesto and into downtown Turlock and downtown Merced? Why aren't we fighting for that? We should be fighting for that. Here's a couple of other things that I want to share with you in terms of the ACE train. The cost. Again, it's projected that extending the ACE train service to Modesto is going to cost an estimated $180 million. Where are we going to get that money from? We need to get that half-cent sales tax. Again, some of the other benefits include faster travel times, improved air quality, reduced congestion, and improved safety at the crossings. Right now we have an average of 4,000 riders per day. 4,000. If we are able to get the ACE train initiative passed, we're actually going to reduce the amount of GHG, or greenhouse gas emissions, by 46 million pounds. That's air quality that I think we should be fighting for our children and grandchildren. Again, where will these new stations be located? We are looking again at having a train station in downtown Tracy at the city's new transit center. It's a beautiful station. A new station will also be considered near the River Islands, just adjacent to Lathrop. And again, Manteca, Modesto, Turlock, and downtown Merced. I have a breakdown again. If you took the train station out of Modesto, what time you would be at Great America, what time you would be in Pleasanton. And that's actually the other beauty of the ACE train, or the ACE Forward initiative. They're actually in discussions right now with the elected officials in Livermore and with the BART officials, because now if we can actually get that train service extended, we can actually have a seamless service between the ACE train and the BART. Imagine how amazing that would be. And somebody who needed to fly out 2 weeks before Christmas, and I was trying to get a flight out of SFO, and I told my husband, oh, we'll have plenty of time. We'll drop off the kids at 7 o'clock, and then we'll be off. My flight didn't leave until 11:50. I didn't get to the BART station until almost 10 a.m. That's how long it took me, 3 hours in that morning traffic. I barely made that connection to fly out to China. And again, as we start to cultivate more of these relationships with our international partners, such as Beijing and others, they need to know that we're also cultivating more enterprise, more business opportunities. The ACE train is another extremely valuable component for us to be able to strengthen those relationships with our Chinese partners. As I mentioned again, the ACE Forward connection to BART, to Oakland, and to San Francisco, I think that would be hugely, hugely invaluable. So in terms of the schedule, in terms of construction, when will that begin? There's a lot of questions. When will the construction begin? The public scoping process, we're actually in it right now, and according to the schedule and the environmental review process, we should have the final or preliminary engineering will conclude in 2016. The projected phase of the Modesto in terms of increasing capacity to 6 daily round-trip trains from the Altamont and the extension into Modesto, we're looking at implementation for 2018. So again, that half-cent sales tax becomes that much more critical. How much longer do I have, Al? A couple more minutes. I know. I'm going to give you all a copy of this. These are the most frequently asked questions about the ACE train, what it does, what it provides, where does the money come from currently? Is it a self-supporting system? I can tell you that there is no public transportation system that pays for itself, but right now with 4,000 daily riders on the ACE train, we're already covering 38% fare box ratio, which is actually pretty darn good. Let's see, what else can I tell you? Again, part of why we need to cultivate this whole travel and tourism, I'm going to share a quick story with you. So I met Livy and Jose. Jose is a retired IBM. He was the head of IBM engineering in San Jose for 25, 26 years. He and his wife Livy left San Jose and bought their retirement home, and they're both 55. They bought their retirement home in Diablo Grande, just outside of Patterson. Lovely couple. And Livy says to me, you know, Virginia, when I told my friends that we were moving to the valley, everybody laughed at me. And they said, why are you moving to that god-awful place? It's high crime. There's nothing but hillbillies, low education. There's no shopping. There's no cultural amenities. And she said, you know, they made me feel even worse. She says, because I kept telling my husband, why are we leaving? Why are we leaving? Why are you doing this to me? But we're sitting in this 1,800 square foot home that's appraised at $1.3 million in downtown San Jose. And my husband said, Livy, I'm going to buy you a brand new home in a retirement community. It's going to cost us maybe $350,000, and it's going to be your home that you've always wanted to have. And he says, not only that, but I'm going to buy you another home with that money, and it's going to be an investment property. And so we're going to be able to get residual income off of that. And in addition, I'll be able to buy you a business in downtown Turlock because she wanted a boutique. I'm going to be able to buy you 3 for what we're currently sitting on here in San Jose. So she said, the math made sense, Virginia. She said, so we came. I came. And she says, my children are still living, my grandchildren are in San Jose. They've been here 4 years. And she said she would never think about moving back to San Jose. And I'll tell you why. She said the valley is actually heaven on earth. There is nowhere in the Bay Area that you have the evenings that you have here in the valley, especially a summer evening. She said it's like nothing else. It's like nothing we've seen or see in the Bay Area. Those are the types of things. And she also said, you have the Gallo Center. You have farmers markets. I love that I can send my husband out to some meat market in Turlock, she said, and it's fresh meat. I love that everything we have is fresh. I love that we have a new community. And she said, I wouldn't trade it for the world. We don't sell what we have here in the valley very well in terms of promoting the great, if you will, the great resources, the great lifestyle. And yes, we do have air quality issues that we all have to contend with, if you will. But imagine ACE now becomes part of that solution. ACE also becomes part of Livy's ability to get into downtown San Jose in 1 hour and 45 minutes. This now allows not only the Livys of the world, but allow people like myself to be able to make that commute. It makes us a lot more attractive, if you will. And as I'm starting to bring in more and more business investors from Beijing, wouldn't it make more sense for me to expose them to all of the great wonders that we have here in the great San Joaquin Valley, from our great train service to our rivers, to our amenities in culture, agriculture. All of that starts to really resound, if you will, on why we should continue to cultivate and celebrate the great San Joaquin Valley. Let's remember, the ACE train, when it comes time for the public to say, we support this, We want to increase that half-cent sales tax. Perhaps we may not enjoy it, but our great-grandchildren, our grandchildren, our children may enjoy it. Let's support the ACE train. It really is something that I think we all need to get behind. And with that, Elle, thank you so very much.